Like it's fun. You know, some of our other garden tours with other people, like they have businesses attached or, you know, different things. This is just a hobby for
This
you,
is
right?
just me. This is a hobby. I have other hobbies that also kind of snowball like this, so it keeps me very busy.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Our Liberty House. This is Lucas, and today is our third episode of our neighborhood garden series, and we're super excited for this one. We're going over to Mary's house in Elk Grove. It's just south of Sacramento, still zone 9B. You know, she's a hobby gardener. Unlike, you know, the other people we've seen kind of have little businesses attached to some things, Mary's into it just for the hobby, for the relaxation, for the fun. Total DIY. She's done it pretty much all herself. Really big garden. She's only been gardening since 2019, and she's got 14 different beds growing different things. She does cut flowers, you know, pollinator garden, and also a lot of the other, like, you know, summer crops that we all see. Really excited to share this with you. Let's get going. All right, we're here with Mary in her backyard garden. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming over all the way.
Yeah. You've been here for how long at gardening in this space?
So we bought this house in the fall of 2018. I had zero intentions of gardening. This was all lawn. But the following spring we realized, oh my gosh, we have cherries and we have pomegranates. And it was after that I kind of wanted to figure out, how do I take care of these trees, because I want fruits again. And that kind of snowballed into, I could grow some herbs, I could grow a couple of things. So it started with one raised bed and a handful of grow bags, and then it quickly escalated to this.
Yeah. So you bought the house with the established fruit trees, and that kind of was like
that was the
ignition.
Starting point. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that happens with a lot of backyard gardeners, right? Oh, this kind of looks fun. Let me start with one bed.
One thing.
And then you're like, no, I need more.
Because prior to this, we lived in a condo.
Yeah.
I had a shady patio, and I had thought about growing herbs, and they just didn't. There was not enough sun. So this is my first time having actual space that I could work with. So
cool.
It's exciting.
And I mean, you have a lot of beds now.
I do have a lot of beds. I think it's 14.
Yeah. Which I'm sure it'll be 20 soon. You know,
I don't know.
We'll go over
we'll
kind
see.
of where we want to. You said you might want to expand.
Yeah.
Let's go through kind of what we're growing here, what you guys are growing. Most of these are the birdies beds, right?
Yes, with the exception of a couple wooden beds and like the small ones on the perimeter. These are all birdies. I bought them all at once. Excuse my dog. He's guarding us. But they were really easy to put together. I put them together by myself and just kind of planned it out on paper first and moved some things around, and this is what we ended up with.
Cool. So let's start just right here. A couple peppers.
In this little bed. This is kind of my little sweet pepper bed. I've had challenges with growing peppers in the past, so I'm excited that there's fruit here, but I have a few of the mini bells. These are orange bell peppers. That's orange also. We got a little sunburnt. I think that's all I have is the orange and the mini.
Yeah.
This is a big rainbow tomato that was gifted to me from one of my coworkers that did really well last year. So I planted this one a little bit late, so I don't know. It's growing, but I'm almost certain that it's going to grow out of this.
Yeah.
I probably should have a plan.
It's fun to experiment.
We'll see.
And it's nice we have such a long growing season. You can plant tomatoes.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried. If I get a few fruit off of it, I'll be happy. Some marigolds. I fell in love with zinnias probably 2 years ago, so they're all over the place. So there's one here. I think that's Queen Lime Red, and a volunteer sunflower that some little critter planted there for me. Luckily, it was right on the edge and not like smack in the middle.
Smart squirrel. Looks like a blueberry.
This is a blueberry. One of what is this? Peach sorbet. I think this is a newer one that I planted. It might have just been last spring, or no, this spring. So I don't have any fruit on it. They were in pots. They lived in pots for, I think, over the winter, along with that one. So not fruit, but I'm patient. I can be patient.
Yeah, I think ours took a full year in a big pot. Actually, we didn't get a good harvest this year, so
it takes time. But I've heard after year 5, people
then
get
they just
a whole bunch.
Yeah, they're blown up. So let's rotate maybe this way. Another blueberry.
Another blueberry.
I've seen 5, 4.
4. This one I think this one might be the pink lemonade. I don't have it labeled.
Yeah, you'll taste it.
But we'll find out.
Yeah.
No fruit on this one ever yet.
And then these Cocozelle.
Cocozelle, I think that's how you say it. This has been my most productive summer squash. Most of them have been pretty huge because they don't catch them.
Have you noticed a difference in the taste, or the firmness of the? I've heard that more than just a generic green zucchini. Some people like these a little bit because they're firmer.
I do. I actually brought a huge one to a friend's barbecue last night, and I cut them really thick, and we threw them on the grill.
And they were
perfect. They were not mushy at all.
Yeah.
Not mushy.
See, I think next year we're gonna not grow generic green zucchini and do something different.
Yeah,
so
I've never had luck with generic green zucchini. I have a yellow zebra, I think it's called.
In the middle
and I think it got crowded out. It grew very slow, and those leaves are almost white.
I think you've got some ground cherries in here.
So yes.
Have you tried them yet?
I have.
Yeah.
Feel free to eat one. I have three ground cherries in here that are just taken over, but somebody else is snacking on them. I'll get to some if I can, but there's a lot of empty husks down there.
They're they're like a mixture of fruity and then creamy. It's
yeah, I can't describe the flavor. If you've never tried one, you just have to try one.
Yeah.
What else do we have in here? I have
lots of cucumbers.
Lots of cucumbers that are a little challenging.
These are interesting.
This is a bait alpha cucumber, and I've got exactly one fruit from it, and it's supposed to be self-pollinating.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You can grow it in a greenhouse. And I've had luck with it in a previous year in a different spot. But it's a running theme with all these cucumbers that I'm not getting fruit anymore. This is a pickling cucumber, lemon cucumber, and Armenian cucumber. So the first round I got a bunch of fruit and they tasted fine. And now I think due to maybe lack of nutrition, I thought it was the heat that they weren't pollinating, but it's actually, I don't see a lot of female flowers.
Yeah, I think we just read, at least we were looking into our pumpkins, and the heat produces more male flowers than female flowers. So I don't know if
and stress, I read that stress, drought, clearly there's plenty of foliage. I don't think the watering is the problem, but I've noticed all female flowers. So intertwined and kind of tangled in between our beans.
Yeah,
Kentucky Wonder Beans on this side, which I think I saw one bean on the other side. These are Asian yard-long beans.
Those look very fun.
They are fun. They're used a lot. I'm Filipino, so they're used a lot just as a side dish, either sauteed by itself or usually with soy sauce. But
do
they're
they
fun.
hold up pretty firm?
They do.
That's not.
You can cook them. Even if you overcook them, they will still have crunch. If you not on purpose, I wouldn't do it.
Grow those next year.
If you want, you guys can take a few. But yeah, I just found these seeds. I think online.
Yeah.
I don't think they have them at Green Acres, but they're pretty easy to find. So I'm happy about the beans. They're happy with this trellis.
You could get this is two of these for one person.
Yeah. You're supposed to harvest them when they're about 18 inches long.
Really?
And they have a red variety that I want to try next year
I've seen those.
It'll be easier to find. These are easy to find too, but it's always fun when you're not searching for green amongst green.
Yeah. I like these, all your zinnias, you said you fell in love with them. These are awesome.
These are peppermint stick. I think. But there's also one called candy cane. But these are definitely peppermint stick.
I like that you intermix. You know, we are big on that, and we hear people complain about like under pollination, and it's just like just mix some flowers in.
Exactly.
It's good to look at. And
I definitely started with a little bit of flowers, and then as I read that same exact thing, and I like looking at them, like the cut flowers are great because they just stick them in a jar of water on our table, and it looks nice. But yeah, I would say every season the ratio of vegetables to flower is more even.
Yeah, we've seen great success with it, and like I said, it's pretty to look at.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so hot pepper bed, I take
Hot pepper bed. I have some jalapenos, some shishitos, and banana peppers. I have a poblano pepper here that's getting eaten by the cucumbers, and I have to keep pulling little tendrils off of them, but I think, I don't know, I'm just going to let it do what it's doing.
We kind of, just the hyper-intensive, let what happens happen.
Let nature take its course. These plants, this 1, 2, and 3, are Hawaiian peppers. I can't tell you what they look like or what they taste like because I bought the seeds in Hawaii when I was visiting my parents last year. You'll notice they have 0 flowers. So I don't really know what's going on with them. It's just a little experiment. And we'll see what happens.
We had planted those habanadas, the heatless habanero, and they didn't flower until super late. So maybe, because these kind of look like habanero, like foliage. So maybe, you know, it's in that same family that it'll flower super late.
And I'm just thinking about climate, like it's hot in Hawaii, but not like here, and it's humid. So maybe the dry heat is just like telling the plant, hold on.
Yeah, you can maybe get a little like liquid, like bloom fertilizer that has the more phosphorus to maybe kind of like.
So this is just kind of a random bed. This bee balm I planted last year, and it did nothing. It stayed really low and had 0 flowers. Over the winter, I trimmed off what I thought, you know, dead leaves. But I kept it there. And this year, this is actually going to be the second flowering. I'll have to show you guys pictures.
Yeah, we'll include them in the video.
When they bloomed, they were like this tall. And so I had to look up, what do I do with them now? And I just chopped them all down to this height, because this is why this random trellis is here, because the wind was pushing them. They were falling. So I chopped them pretty much in half. And then I think at the end of the growing season, you chop them down to the ground. And so I'll probably leave them here because the bees obviously love them. And I saved the dried flowers because I think we can make tea. They smell good.
Looks like you have a black-eyed Susan.
I have a black-eyed Susan, a volunteer sunflower.
Thank you, squirrels.
I have some sad tomatillos here. Kind of the same story as my cucumbers. I had the first flush of fruit, you know, enough to make 1 batch of salsa. And now they just look kind of sad. And this is my 3rd year doing tomatillos, and it's the same thing every year.
Really?
But you guys have good tomatillos,
this year,
finally.
And then is this a cucamelon?
This is a cucamelon, which I've never been able to grow. And I don't know what's going on, but it's like microscopic. I don't think I'm going to get fruit, but I'm leaving it because why not?
And then we got
the sub pod. I'm always like nervous to open it because I don't know what's going to jump out. But it's looking kind of dry. Earlier this year, it was all earthworm castings. Everything was gone. The worms did a great job.
Wow.
And so I scooped out what I could and fed my plants. And it's just an easy, low maintenance way of getting rid of kitchen scraps and
keeps it contained.
And that little silver thing, I think it probably does help with the heat. But in the afternoon, it really does just like it's pounded with sun. So I have to kind of remember to.
What's nice is you can harvest out of it, though.
You
Obviously.
can harvest out of it, and then I'm sure the worms are just all over the bed. I might actually move it to another bed. I don't know, rotate it every couple of years.
Yeah, that would.
It does go all the way to the ground.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
So it's kind of a chore, but for now it'll stay here.
How often are you watering? I think people ask that a lot too.
So I set up this drip irrigation. I probably water every 2 to 3 days for about an hour and a half. This drip line has 1/4 gallon per hour emitters every 6 inches.
Yeah.
And I really just last year was the first year I had it, and I was watering less often last year. This year, I feel like I have to water more often.
It's been a little bit hotter. Maybe
I think consistently hotter. And again, it might be something with the soil.
Yeah, if there's not as much like life in it, it's not going to hold as much
exactly.
water.
So I'll kind of like feel a few inches down sometimes, and it's drier than I would expect it to be. So again, it all goes back to fixing the soil.
Sunflower.
A
giant tomato.
A giant tomato that this whole bed was. This is also from Birdies. This was a late ad. So I was gifted a tomato plant, stuck it in here, knowing that it was going to outgrow this little trellis.
Yeah.
But I did it anyways. And I have to like support it with this chair. But I have some fruit on it.
Do you know what kind of?
This is it Abigail tomato.
It looks like just a big slicer though.
Yeah, which I'm happy about because as we'll see later, none of my slicers are doing anything. I also have a little butterbush squash in here. I'm not sure how big these fruits are to get, but they're small and cute.
Yeah, it's perfect for like 2 people.
Yeah, I mean nobody else. My kids don't eat them. But again, this is just gonna like sit on this chair.
Yeah, you gotta
because of course it's going that way. It would be nice if it was going the other way, but I can't control what it does.
Another big arch.
So this is a 12 feet. It's 12 feet this way. And this is just made out of paddle panel.
Yeah.
There's 16-foot panels.
Yep. Usually like 50 inches tall or whatever.
I think so. There's 3 of them here, and then the smaller one I used 2. So yeah, these were also gifted to me by my friend Kendra. I think they're just made from
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was my intention for this 12-foot thing was supposed to be a rainbow of tomatoes and corresponding flowers. It didn't quite pan out that way.
What do we have?
I'm already like
You already moved
I'm already punishing it. This is a Costaludo. Oh my gosh, I can't even say it.
Looks like
Italian.
Yes. We were looking at those. They like kind of have like big like rib.
Yes.
Like they're supposed to get big.
Here's a mini version. Yeah. Clearly they're not getting that big. This was a San Marzano, and I've gotten a few like these are like smaller than Roma tomatoes.
Yeah.
So clearly I have a soil problem.
You don't have any Boston Enrod issues though. Like
surprisingly.
We do. Yeah. I think it's your pH. I would put.
I'm gonna probably. I work later today, but tomorrow first thing once the kids go to school, I'm gonna just do the little inexpensive soil test on
just check the pH. Yeah.
And I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I would, because the year we had really bad pH issues. Our tomato plants looked just
like this.
Miniature versions of themselves. Like they didn't look like they were dying, but they just looked stunted.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of
exactly.
I mean, like these kind of just look stunted.
Miniature. So these are 2 sun golds, which I've grown in the past and I love them. So I'm just gonna have to grow them every year.
A fan favorite that I think we're gonna add.
This is Barry's Crazy Cherry Tomato. which are supposed to grow really large clusters of
I mean, you look
a
at
ton of
the
see how many flowers.
I just think this is heat involvement up
Yeah.
here, but I would bet.
I will try these again though. These are from Baker Creek. I got the seeds from Baker Creek. This is called Green Giant, also from Baker Creek, and not giant and not green because again, no tomatoes on this. I haven't seen any fruit on these at all. So that's kind of disappointing.
Brad's Atomic Grape.
Brad's Atomic Grape, which, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm trying to grow it again. Last year, I started maybe 6 seedlings, and they all look just weird. Their leaves were just kind of twisted and strange. But I ended up getting fruit last year.
You have a couple.
I have a couple. And then this was probably the biggest disappointment. This is Black Beauty, also from Baker Creek, and they're supposed to be like slicers and just really dark purple.
It's got great flower clusters.
It does, you know.
You might get a late if you keep them in.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna remove them. I'm just gonna let them.
I do like that you've been, like, you can tell, very intentional about like splitting. You know.
I tried to do that early on. That's what I did last year. Is I would get all those suckers off so it didn't bush out until they were, I think, about a foot tall, and then I just let them go. They were there last year, and I had to keep tying them up everywhere and once there's a ton of fruit, they got so heavy.
We did not prune as heavy this year, and I've had a little bit more disease. We've had a good harvest, but last year I was really aggressive about pruning like this.
Yeah.
And it helped. So
I'm always thinking about airflow.
Yeah.
Which we're really hot here, but then there's a fine line between airflow and then letting too much sun in and things get scalded.
Or burnt.
It's a challenge. But I did get these little tomato clips, which are helpful because last year I just used this green tape, and then it's a pain to remove, and then you're just throwing it away.
So we have,
and I'll have little straps.
Ties.
Oh, that works.
But then, like, all of our trellises just have bread ties.
Bread ties on them.
Another perennial bed.
This is kind of my herb bed. That's what it started as. So there's a whole bunch of hemp from Grow It at Home on Instagram. That's where I got them from. There's one in here and that little one over there that are actually volunteers from last year. Last year I had them growing in grow bags.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have drip on them, and as they were starting to flower, they also died.
They're pretty water hungry, aren't they?
They are. So that one was a volunteer that I moved into that pot, and as you can see, I have the little DIY Oya in there. If I forget to water it, that's why it's got yellowing leaves and looking kind of dry. These ones are doing great because they're on drip.
And what do you do with them?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Last year I didn't get any. It started to flower, but I did nothing with them. I've heard you can do tea with the leaves. I haven't really tried it, but I'm probably gonna infuse oil and make some topical something.
Salve or topical oil.
So that's all I plan to do with that. I have a huge sage plant that this is just regular sage I got from Green Acres. It flowered. I saved and dried some flowers, and then I saved some seeds, so I have a little tiny bowl of seeds, and then it's having a second growth.
Yeah.
Same thing with the oregano. This is Greek oregano that I got from Green Acres, and it's starting to flower. I have dried oregano now. I'll never have to buy
We
from the
tore
store.
We're gonna move and just do a culinary herb bed because it was taking up. They just get so.
Yeah. Well, that was my intention for this bed because it's closest to the door.
Yeah.
I figured I'll just keep it herbs. All this mint, these are all second-year mint plants in grow bags, and they clearly have gotten away from me. I can't consume this. I don't know why I thought I needed 12 varieties of mint, but
If you like mint,
I like the smell of it, and the bees
like
love
it
the
too,
flowers, so they're staying. And these actually, I did run drip on them. Grow bags in Sacramento. not great for summertime.
Yeah.
They do good in the winter, but...
Do you do potatoes in them?
I have.
Yeah.
I've done them. That's what I got, the big size. I think those are 15 gallon.
Yeah.
I did potato. I didn't do any potatoes this year, but
I think we're going to try it.
Maybe next
Just
year.
for harvesting.
It's so easy. I laid out a tarp and you just dump it all out and
yeah.
you get a surprise.
Cool. I think that's all of the growing areas. I mean, you have a bunch of fruit trees.
I do. I'm excited for the pomegranate.
It's quite the harvest. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
on there.
I had no idea when we moved here that was a pomegranate tree.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I like pomegranates.
Yeah, I usually give them away. I've made pomegranate juice.
Yeah.
I make kombucha, so did pomegranate kombucha one time.
What's this one?
This is a lemon tree.
Lemon. That's a healthy looking lemon.
It needs like some shaping, I think.
Yeah.
I usually get the lemons as they drop on the floor, and pick them all up. But I see some green ones on there, so it's starting again. These two are cherry trees. I don't know the exact variety, but they're a dark sweet cherry. The first year, a friend reminded me, hey, you should cover them because the birds will eat them. And we got nets on them just in time. So we got some bird netting that was really hard to put on because the trees were big, like it would snag on every branch. But we did our best and we saved them. The second year, we didn't get nets up in time, and I found this like
tape.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, ribbon.
Like in the wind from my kitchen window, this is all I would hear, and it's very reflective. Last year, it worked like a charm. The birds didn't touch them. This year, the birds did not care. They ate I didn't get a single cherry.
Sad.
It was very sad. So next year, I actually need to prune them because the branches they get really heavy.
Yeah.
When they're full of fruit, these are like almost touching the floor.
Yeah.
So in the effort to not, I don't want any branches to break. We need to probably shorten those ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably my favorite of all the fruit.
It's the cherry trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool they came with the house because they're mature and you get
fruit right away. Again, and then when they bloom with the blossoms, they're so pretty.
Very cherry blossom, pretty.
Very pretty. We actually had to trim this oak tree back.
Yeah.
Because we had somebody come do it because it was reaching over, and these were all getting shaded.
Yeah.
So in previous years, this tree didn't produce very much.
Because
after we trimmed the oak tree, it did.
Cool. Did you do all of the irrigation yourself?
I did. As you can tell, it's all exposed in places. But with Drip Depot, I just converted 3 sprinkler heads and then capped off the rest of them. And ran everything.
I am planning on completely redoing our irrigation, like what drip emitters I'm using, because I like what you have basically with the quarter gallon an hour. Just strips run along and you can water for an hour because I can only water for like 30 minutes before it all just starts.
It all spills out.
Because I just have too much water at once.
And I have shut-off valves on each bed in the chance that like a bed doesn't need to be watered, but I haven't even really needed to use them, but it's nice that they're there.
I want it for garlic because then you're supposed to turn the water off.
Garlic, I didn't do that this year.
They're still refined.
I still got garlic.
Yeah, so did we. So maybe it's a myth.
We'll try it next year. If I could change anything, I would have trenched the irrigation, but I did it all by myself, and this was grass, so it was hard to dig.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get it done.
Did you get this from like Chip Drop, or did you guys buy
this? This is from that tree.
Okay.
So they chopped an arborist came and trimmed that tree, and I said, "Can you just chip it into my driveway?" And it was gigantic. It had to be at least maybe 6 to 8 yards.
Wow.
So I dumped it all here. I used some of it in the compost. I have those geobins. I composted a bunch, and there's still kind of a pile out in the front. So
that's free free mulch.
It's free, and I knew where it came from.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of got big chips, but it's okay. It's just for ground cover.
All right, that is the whole garden.
That's it.
It's awesome space. Like, it's fun. You know, some of our other garden tours with other people, like, they have businesses attached or, you know, different things. This is just a hobby for
This
you,
is
right?
just me. This is a hobby. I have other hobbies that also kind of snowball like this, so it keeps me very busy.
Yeah.
But it's just fun. It's fun to shop out of my garden and do a lot of trial and error, and if things die, it's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing's really depending on it. It's just my time. So.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's really impressive that this is like 3 seasons old.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, obviously you know you're like dealing with some issues like gardeners. You know, not everybody's garden is perfect.
No, yeah.
You have things that are growing really good. You have things that are struggling, but it's like it's normal and it's fun to do that. So we appreciate you sharing this with us. I love the vertical gardening and everything. It's a great space. So
thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys coming out. I love watching your guys' content, and especially other local gardeners, because we all deal with the same climate issues. And it's nice to finally meet you guys.
yeah, no, that's the exciting part about doing this like neighborhood series we're doing, is that we're gonna see other people's gardens, create a better gardening community in Sacramento, and hopefully all share ideas and successes, and maybe fruit.
And fruit, tomato jam, and bread.
Thank you very much, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.